Hey, everybody. Welcome to The Experience, live with Russ and Scott.
Welcome to The Experience, live with Russ and Scott.
Join us every Wednesday at 7 a.m. Pacific Standard Time on LinkedIn, YouTube, and Facebook. Special thank you to our sponsors, Brew Coffee and Tap House in Independence, Oregon on Main Street. For more information, call 503-837-0279. And Realistic Replicas by Brian. For more information, go to replicas.com. And finally, the AG Better Network and Christine Smith. For more information, go to agbetternetwork.com. Whoop, whoop, whoop. Good morning, everybody. Welcome to The Experience, live with Russ and Scott. And we are here for another fabulous discussion of the experience of life. How you doing, Scott?
Oh, fabulous. We've got great guests coming up, and I'm excited because this is episode number 149. And so next week, we will be starting a new month. So we'll hit 150 in March. This is, we've done 3 years. This is now our 4th year into this. And then on Monday, we launch the Experience Local. So it's going to be a big week next week.
Huge week. And like I said, my good friend, mentor, coach, and gifted technical mind, D. Scott Smith, we have to chat after the show to get all those things put together. But anyway, I have most of the work done. We just have to do the fine details. So, but yeah, I am so excited about everything coming up next week. And, you know, this new year has brought so much opportunity. And, you know, my word for 2024, Scott, is abundance. And I think we talked about that. Last year was actually opportunity. This year's an abundance. And I'm a firm believer that God has given us an abundant world that we can operate within. It's just there for our taking in a positive way, or we could choose to take it in a negative way, but I choose positive. And it's been interesting for me though, Scott, because there's been, along with that, there's been a lot of uncertainty. But in that uncertainty, I've also seen all the opportunity. And I think a lot of times people get stuck on the uncertainty of life. I can understand because it happens to me at times. You get stuck on the uncertainty. But when you look at the abundance all around you and then the opportunities that you have, and that's part of what we're taking advantage of next week. And how did we start that? We just stepped forward, just like my good friend D. Scott Smith says. And we jumped into it with both feet, right? We just went ahead and moved forward and made it happen.
Yeah, things come together. It's a local radio station, so KWIL, and that's 790 AM. And Quill for Christ is the, you can find the website out there. Hope 1079 is the FM station. And Scott Michaels is the station manager there. And he has been involved in radio for a long time. And he's really looking out into the future of it and what makes a difference in the station. And one of the things that stations like, that listeners like, is local control. And so there's a lot more opportunity coming up. So for people that are out there in their local markets, radio is not dead, but it is changing. And you need to be ready for that. And it's just another simile for life, because life is always changing. My word, though, for this year, Russ, is revolution. Last year it was singularity, where a small effort can make a big difference. You know, those little texts that you send out saying, hey, just praying for you and Christine, those have a big impact, right? It seems like a small thing, but it does have a big impact. Well, for this year, the word is revolution. And we can think of it as taking over something or making significant changes. But we can also think about the earth revolving around the sun. And there's consistency. It's change, but there is some consistency. So we can find both. We can make radical changes and find consistency.
Like always, much deeper than me. Your words are bigger. Your sounds are deeper. We both graduated from the same college, but somehow you got the big words and I got all the little words when we graduated. But because don't they say a college graduate really only means you know more words? I don't know.
Well, that's about it. That's
yeah.
it. Well, but hey, what else have you got going on?
Well, before we jump into our amazing guest today, I just want to say that this opportunity, I mean, I have got so many things going on, but I'm just super excited about this opportunity next week. And we want to encourage all of you. We're going to be live streaming this 9 a.m. Pacific Standard Time on the Experience Local, Live with Russ and Scott, every Monday. So this will be a new show every Monday. But you might think, well, what does that have to do with me? I don't live in Oregon. I don't live in the Mid-Valley. I don't live in Southwest Washington. You know what? It has to do with you because everybody has a local area. And we want to encourage people to think, locally and act globally, right? We're all acting globally. We've got this global economy going on. That's great. But don't forget your local area, because your local economy and your local connections and community build life for you where you are. Do not forget that. Do not hibernate and isolate. Get out there and take advantage of your local community and then expand that. And so through this local show, and it all talking about believers in business, how their faith applies to their business and their family, we want to encourage you to do things in your local community, whatever that looks like for you. And that's what I love about this opportunity. And I can tell you, like Scott said, there is a ton of excitement around this. We have already 3 months worth of guests, and I haven't even tried. And people ask me, how do you get guests? I'm like, really? Okay. Anyway, I haven't even tried it. We already have.
When you're a lifetime connector with Russ,
there you
he's
go.
going to come in and ask you. And we also have sponsorships. So we have 4 sponsors for every show. And right now we have a waiting list for people because Ever in the background does such good work. There's so much promotion that goes out.
Right.
This is a great opportunity for the businesses. Of course, it's going to be live on many channels. And then the audio is going to replay that evening on radio. And so to get radio advertising, this is a great entry point. This is a great entry point. Very cost effective. You're going to reach a lot of people.
They get way more. Yes, and they get way more than you would ever believe. And one thing you said, and I'll end with this, Scott, besides getting all the live streaming and all the advertising leading up to that, not only on our channels and people that share that, but also on KWIL and Hope 107 FM, you also get the fact that they stream that as well, and that we convert it to audio podcasts, and they will also be converted to audio podcasts. So that means the people that are sponsoring and getting the word out there, it's going all over the place in so many different formats. I think people are excited about that because people want to support local, and I think that's exciting. But with that, I think we better jump into our guest because you and I are so excited.
Let's do it.
We can talk about this.
Great folks.
Yeah. All right. So we always go ladies first. So Kenyatta's back there. The biggest smile. She's ready. She's saying, do I ever get to come on, Russ? Here she comes. Morning, Kenyatta.
Good morning. Good morning, Russ. Good morning, Scott. Thanks for having me. Glad to be here with all of you.
You bet. I just love your smile and the fact that I have this great memory of you when you first went and tried live streaming. And you said, hey, does anybody want to jump in? And I jumped in and we talked on your first live stream and we had so much fun. And, we'd already known each other for quite a long time, but that memory just sticks out in my mind. And yeah, you just always bring joy to my life.
I appreciate that. And you're right. You were the bravest one to come on with me. I'm learning how to work it. I'm like, I think I can drop the link in here and see what happens. And you showed up, and that is right. So thank you so much for supporting me. And that's why I just knew I always liked you, but I forgot you did that for me as well. So Russ, thanks for being so encouraging.
Well, I'm always here for you, Kenyatta, and I am a lifetime connector. And as you know, you've been stuck with me as your friend since the beginning. And so that's the way it works. But hey, I digress. We need to talk about Kenyatta. Who is Kenyatta and what are you up to? Give us a little insight.
Oh my goodness. My name is Kenyatta Turner. I'm the CEO and founder of Fredom Empire Consulting. That's the name of my company. And I'm a transformational speaker. I'm a behavioral superpowers coach. And I'm an author. And I just love the opportunity to help people do what they're built to do. My behavioral superpower style is an outgoing, fast-paced influencer, and that's the short version of that. And I always have to tell people, it's not about social media influence when I use that word. I actually have like 2 followers. So if you want to be my third, then click a button somewhere and follow me. But I ultimately, it's the nature of the word for what it actually means. And it's the name of one of the archetypes of our behavioral superpower style. So I like to tell people that. But basically what I do and what I'm so excited about is helping people, like using my behavioral superpowers to help other people unleash theirs. And it's really about personal growth, development, and self-awareness. And I've got a lot of good stuff going on right now, but I'm sure we'll get into some of that later. I'm just excited to be here on the show with you today, and to get to know whoever's going to be joining us, and actually to have some conversations with you and Scott.
Yeah.
Well, we love introspection. Was it
Yes.
Socrates said the unexamined life is not worth living.
That's right. That's
There you
right.
go. As usual, Scott. Scott always brings the deep part of the show and always makes me think. I'm like, okay, Russ has got all the simple words, but hey, you know what? Speaking of simple, I'm going to do the next simple step and bring in our second amazing guest,
Mhm.
William Carl, who is an amazing author and publisher. Come on in, William.
Hey, good to see you guys. How you doing?
So good. So good. Hey, let's
Great.
start off before we get too diving deep into the conversation and more deep words from Scott. Let us go to who is William Carl and what are you all about?
Well, fortunately, I'm retired now and enjoying it. I think I'm enjoying it way too much. I'm actually 75, and that's halfway through the new middle age. Did you all know that the new middle age is 60 to 90? Did you all know that? It is.
Wow.
And the way I got that is I've spoken all over the country and around the world. And I'm speaking at Chautauqua once up in Western New York, where people come, I call it the Disney World for the chronologically mature, and you're dodging scooters and walkers, but really bright, interesting people. And you can't get the senior citizen discount at Chautauqua until you're 90. So I've decided the new middle age is 60 to 90. So you all are just young people, Anyway, I'm enjoying retirement. And one of the things I did in retirement is finally finish a novel that I'd been working on for 30 years that Alex Haley, the author of Roots, told me to write. And that's another whole story I can share in a few minutes about empowering people, by the way, Kenyatta. That's one thing Alex Haley did for me, and I dedicated the book to him. It's a Dan Brown meets Daniel Silva thriller, and we'll talk more about that in a minute. But I'm retired. I was clergy and also an academic. Was president of Pittsburgh Seminary, and I'm just having fun. And I'm glad to be on with you all.
Yeah. Well, we're glad to have you, aren't we, Scott?
Yeah, I love that. This middle age, 60 to 90, means we're all going to be going to 120 and 180.
There you go.
When you start thinking about it, we can get a lot accomplished.
That's right. It's very biblical, it's very biblical, but
absolutely. And this is where Kenyatta comes in, because you go, I can tell you that I do not want to live to be 150 years old and not be making an impact. And Kenyatta, this is one of the reasons why people should be working with you.
Thank you. I appreciate that. Well, when it comes to making an impact, I think that we were talking just a minute ago about introspection, right, of your life. But first, I want to congratulate William. Congratulations on your book, finishing your 30-year-old book. So I just don't want to gloss over that. That's amazing. So making an impact on life. I think what's interesting, what I find with working with people, is that they feel like they want to make an impact, or they feel like they should make an impact, but they don't really know exactly in what way. So they struggle with figuring out, what is it that I actually want to do? What do I want to contribute? What is my legacy? What is my purpose? What are my gifts, my skills, my talents? And I just love what I do in that I can sit down and help a person figure that thing out, right? It's not just me who makes that happen, but like opening their mind to a way to think about who they are and why they are, that can help them answer some of those things. Because without the introspection, we can just be flailing, right? You have to decide what it is that you want, and then you can decide why you want to do it. So I think that's a big part of making an impact, is you got to figure out what that impact really is supposed to be.
I would totally agree with that, Kenyatta. In fact, I was thinking this morning, sometimes I need a little bit more introspection because I get a little too fragmented and too much, what are you, I know definitely who I am, my why, my purpose, what am I all about, but am I staying on track with that? And sometimes you may be staying on track with that, but skirting the edges with a little too much. And you need to have some introspection as to what's really important. And I always think back to what my beautiful wife told me many times when I tell her I have to do this. And she looks at me and she goes, no, you're choosing to do that. And I think to myself, that same thing. I was even thinking about my tax meeting today, that I may not be prepared and ready for this meeting today. And I thought, you know what? Tax day is still a couple months off. I don't have to do this meeting today if I have to repostpone. And sometimes we think we get it all scheduled and we have to do this, right? So, it's just things in life we need to get our priorities straight. And so, Bill, William, I want to jump back to you, and I want you to, first of all, you had a couple amazing things you wanted to share with us. First was about names, our names. Yep. And second of all, I got to hear, I've heard it once, but I got to hear the Alex Haley story.
Okay. Well, let me just start with your names, because I was so fascinated when I saw Kenyatta was coming on. And I'm a Greek scholar, so I'm always telling people what their names mean, if they have Greek roots. Yours is more Kenyatta, but all this, I'm sure, but I'm just sharing with the audience. You are very versatile, idealistic, and intuitive. That comes out of the name Kenyatta. And listen to this. You have a reservoir of inspired wisdom combined with inherited analytical ability, which could reward you through expressions of spiritual leadership, business analysis, marketing, artistic visions, and scientific research. Now, there's a combination. What a hand you've got there. Wow.
And that is me too. That is me.
Amazing. Now, I told Scott, that's you. There you are. I told Scott, and Scott already told me what Dennis, Scott, and Smith said, but I'm just going to go with the Scott part, which he was correct, is a wanderer. It denotes a seeker of truth and spiritual awakening. And it propels this wanderer forward on their path to discover deeper meaning in life. And the spiritual journey of life is about growth, learning, and becoming our best selves. So the name Scott reflects that mission for all of us. It's about the adventure of discovering our divine purpose. Wow, what a handle you've got, Scott. You like that?
I'll take that. My first name is Dennis, which is you can go back to the Greek and look at the Dionysius for that, but we'll let you keep going.
Okay, well, there you go. And then we've got Russ, which is the most fun of the three of you here.
You got that right.
Red-haired and fox-like. There you go. How about that? And that's channeling Disney's Robin Hood energy, Russ is a name with illustrative meanings, red-haired and fox-like. It's a short title that packs a wealth of energy. Russ is reserved for spirited souls with fiery hearts. There you go. Isn't that a great combination? I love telling people about their names.
That is definitely me too, William. And I used, believe it or not, everybody, when I had hair and when what I did have wasn't gray, it was actually red. So there you go.
Well, I love it. And Russ, when you were not on the show one time, you couldn't be here, and with a guest host filling in, we added a little video that we play every show to fill in for Russ. Can you play that little video?
Oh yeah, because we just have so much excitement, and I do, of course.
That was our Russ substitute, and very descriptive. And
I
William
love that.
definitely
great.
fits with what you just described Russ as.
Some people kind of say,
Well, the
just
other
settle
thing, I'm
down.
just calm it down, take it down a notch. Well, I went in to a place once, and the woman behind the reception desk looked really down, kind of dumpy and down and not happy. And I saw her name. I said, is your name Dorothy? And she said, yeah, that's my name, Dorothy. And I said, do you know what that means in Greek? And she said, what? And I said, well, the Dora means gift, and the THY means theos, which is God. Your name means gift of God. And she lit up and said, well, I'm going to go home and tell my husband that. And I thought, okay, that's right. That's a good thing. You turn it around and you get the male version, which is Theodore. So it's just fun learning about people and kind of lifting them up. And that's what Alex Haley did for me. His mantra was find the good and praise it. Did you all know that? Isn't that a great mantra? Why not have that kind of mantra with your life? Find the good and praise it. And that's what he did with everybody. So I was a pastor of a large church in Texas, in Dallas, and we were on TV to 500,000 people all over Texas and this and that on the live ABC network. But I had Alex come speak. He was a friend of our family, and he was speaking in our town hall forum. And he was sitting in my office, and he said, have you written anything? Now, I've published 8 nonfiction books before I did Assassin's Manuscript. And to me, those were easy. I can roll out of bed and write a nonfiction book, but fiction's a different story. And he turned to me, he said, have you written anything? I said, yeah. He said, let me see one of your books. And so I pulled one off the shelf, which was a set of lectures I'd given at Princeton, and it's still on sale, and it's been translated into Korean. And I handed it to him, and he started thumbing. This is the author of Roots, thumbing and reading my book. And he closes it, and he says, William, you need to write a novel. And I go, Alex, what makes you say that? And he said 2 things. One, you know how to write, you write really well, and you know how to tell a story, and that's all a novel is. I said, what would I write? He said, what do you like? I said, oh, Tom Clancy, Robert Ludlum, Jason Bourne, Jack Ryan, international espionage. You write one like that? I said, I don't know anything about any of that. He said, well, you're a Greek scholar, and you know about old manuscripts. Put that together with espionage. And that's what I did. And all these years later, 12 revisions later, it's out there.
Wow.
Assassin's Creed. And so I dedicated it to Alex. Isn't that, I mean, I was on a radio show with a very popular African-American radio host here. And he said, people say to you, you ought to write a book. Anybody will say that to you. Hey, Scott, you ought to write a book, whatever. But Alex Haley says you should write a book. You got to pay attention to that,
You got to write that book.
You got to do it. You got to write a novel. That's what he said. You ought to write a novel. So anyway, that's the story. Right?
Yeah, that is so amazing. And before because we're already getting short on time, I want to jump to Kenyatta. You also have authored a book, Kenyatta, and are an amazing storyteller. Go ahead.
Well, I have authored or been part of book collaboration. So I've contributed to books, chapters, pages, and we have another one coming out right now. There's a legacy book series called The Art of Connection, 365 days of, I'm going to say X quotes. And why do I say X is because each book is a certain type of quote. So the one coming out right now, the 4th one is gratitude quotes. The one before that was transformational quotes. And then entrepreneurial quotes, and I can't remember what the first one was, but now it's gratitude quotes. So I'm so excited. They'll have different 365 pages, a different quote for every page. So there's hundreds of authors that contribute to this who will write 1 or 2 pages, however many they want. And you write your quote, you write something about the quote, and then you pose a question to whoever the reader is. And the 4th one is about to come out right now about gratitude quotes. And I love that. Other little projects that I've been in, I wrote the prologue for a book called The 8 Qualities of Exceptional Black Women in Business and Entrepreneurship. And initially I was going to write one of the 8 qualities, but once I spoke to the woman curating the book about what I do with behavioral superpowers and awareness and helping people understand who they are at their core so that they can build their life that they want around who they are. She said, you know what? I want that to be the introduction to the book. I want to talk about how important it is to understand and have that deep level of self-awareness. So that was exciting. And so I continue to be a part of these projects, and one day I will write my own, of course. But I absolutely love, dipping my toe in first, because that's how I decided. I'm like, well, let me just try writing in someone else's book and let's just see how that goes. And it was really exciting, but it was obvious that it's something that I will pursue. And especially if Alex Haley were to tell me, I would have already done it, right? But no, William, I just love your book and what you just described about what your book is about and the kind of things that you like to read and watch, and then like merging that together. I think I'm excited to read that book.
Yeah. Well, you may want to listen to it too, because our actor son in New York, who's been on The Marvelous Mrs. Maisel on Netflix, he's been in a George Clooney movie, he's been on Blue Bloods. He did the narration, and it's like listening to a movie because he's an expert on international accents.
Yeah.
The log line is former CIA assassin becomes a minister in Tennessee, and then he gets pulled back to his old world of espionage.
Interesting.
Oh,
that's
yeah.
good. That's wild,
good. It's a wild story. And there's an unlikely romance, everything. Anyway.
That's good.
Yeah.
That's good.
I've got my e-copy of that book. I need to dive into that thing. I want to tell everybody watching, we have a ton of people watching. We love it when you engage. Everybody just jump on and say hi. Say hi to Kenyatta and William, or say hi to Scott and I, or just say hi. We want to know you're out there because I see a ton of you watching, and we just love for you to engage. It's also a great place to engage the other people watching the show. Then they know you're watching when you engage on there. So we'd love for you to do that. And Scott, I'm going to turn this over to you because you're really the book guru as we wind things up. But I have been blessed to write going on 5 collaborative books over the last about 8 months. And I have 2 coming out in the next few weeks. And it's been amazing, Kenyatta. I've been able to write a chapter, and I encourage everybody. And then, Scott, I'm sending it to you. If you have never done this, it is a great way to start. Start with a bunch of amazing authors, with somebody who knows how to put the book together and all of that, and write a chapter, right, Scott?
Yeah, I love the collaborative books. It's a great way to get started. It's a little less intimidating, but you get an idea of what the process is.
Yes.
There's so many different options out there. Amazon and Lulu and Ingram Spark make it all easy. There's some software out there that you can use to write a book. But one of the motivations that I hope that a lot of people feel is legacy. Capture your legacy. And, think back if your grandparents, great-grandparents had written anything, whether it was fiction, nonfiction, just some memoirs, how you would treasure that book today. And so I just encourage you, whatever it is that you have inside you, get it out. And there's lots of help, but it's easy to do. And don't miss that opportunity, but do like so many people in Kenyatta, reach out to her and find out, how did she get involved in doing a collaborative book? And is that the right thing for you?
That's right. That's right. And, as I am being the responsible host and getting ready to wrap things up for the day, I want to tell you, my last book out, you talk about legacy, was a note to your family, or a note to my family, I am your legacy. And it was a chapter to my future family, but it also spoke to my current family. And I was able this Christmas, it came out in December, to write a personal message in books to my immediate family, to my beautiful wife and my daughter and my son and my daughter-in-law, and give them a copy of that. There's nothing like a piece of you and some legacy that you hand to your family that will live long beyond when I live here on this earth. So with that, we're going to let you both wrap things up for the day. And Kenyatta, we're going to start with you. What we'd like you to do is give your gold nugget or your wrap-up comments for today, what you really want people to remember from today's show on the experience of life, and how do they get in touch with you?
Yeah, so as far as a wrap up, I will put a plug for my behavioral vision boot camp that I'm doing next week. I put it in the chat or in the thing, and there it is on the screen. So yes, if you want to know more about what it is I do, you can reach out to me on LinkedIn and Facebook and all the places. But I'm hosting a behavioral vision boot camp next week where you will get to figure out what your behavioral superpower style is. You'll take the assessment. You will use that to build your aspirational vision and burning desire, and then come up with a plan to realize that. So we're going to work in those 3 days and get some things done. But what my takeaway from this conversation is that it is so much fun to just have conversations with people, because that's basically what we just had right now. We got on here, we had conversations. I got to meet some new people. I got to meet William, already knew Scott and Russ. But if we had ran into each other, like in a coffee shop or something like that, we would just sit down and have a conversation, talk about what's going on, talk about a new book that's been released and your show that's going local next week. I mean, we would just catch up. So I felt like that's what this was, in a really cool way. Caught up with a couple of friends, met someone new, learned about, what everybody has going on, and a really cool story, a new book. William, we're going to be great friends, but I think the takeaway is that life, you just need to live it. So stop thinking about living it and just live it, right? Find a way to be in the moment and connect with other people. Reach out, say hello. I mean, we're humans and we want to connect. So if you feel compelled to, then do it. If you feel like you want to be by yourself, then do that too. But you get to decide, right? And so your life is yours to live in the way that you want, and do the deep introspective self-awareness so that you understand who you are, why you are, and what it is that you want out of life, and then go get it. That's it.
Cool.
There you go. And people get in touch with you how?
Yes, you can email me at Kenyatta at freedomempireconsulting.com. You can go to my website at freedomempireconsulting.com, and you can connect with me at Kenyatta Turner on Instagram and LinkedIn and Facebook and all the things. So reach out and say hello.
There you go. And that somehow magically appeared below you as you were speaking.
It's amazing how that works.
It's amazing. So I'm telling y'all, you just need to click on it. It's clickable. And if you're listening to this, that's right. Clickable. If you're listening to it on audio podcast, you can go to one of the sites and click on it, or you can listen to what Kenyatta said and just look it up and find it there. So please connect with her today. And next up, we've got Bill. Bill, wrap her up for us. Or William, William.
Yeah, that's okay. I told Russ we only say William because I don't have any books published by Bill Carl. It's only William. I love Kenyatta's energy. I'm just empowered for the whole day just listening to her talk. And you guys are always so positive. I mean, people should be watching your show from all over the world. This is such a positive show. And I have a very simple point, and I did it on LinkedIn recently. And the point is, never give up. Never, ever give up. Whatever you're working on. There are many times I gave up on this across 30 years, but someone said, you got to keep going. And that encouragement, and then remembering, I could almost hear Alex whispering in my ear, why are you stopping? Don't you want to I told you to write this book. Let's get it done. And I'm guessing some of you watching have something you're working on that has just been put on the shelf, whether it's writing or a project or a new hobby or whatever. Just keep at it and enjoy it and stay positive about it. I totally agree with Kenyatta about this. Life is so short, and live it in 3D. I was talking to somebody the other day, and we're on Zoom, and I'd rather be in person with you. I'd rather be 3D with you. And that gave me a whole new idea. I never thought about that. That when I was driving down the road, and yesterday when I was hiking in the mountains, as the trees are going by, it's like I'm not just watching a movie in 3D. This is real 3D. I want to live life in 3D. And so just take every moment and make it precious and treasure it and never give up.
Amen. And people get in touch with you, William?
Yeah. So I have a website. It's called LeConte Publishing, Leconte. That's named after the iconic mountain here, LeConte, and Mount LeConte, and LeContePublishing.com. And then I'm on LinkedIn as William Carl, and my email is 311 Bill C. It's all there. You can click on it. That LeConte Publishing is, I have mentors who are inspiring and encouraging authors and artists and screenwriters and screenplays. And remember that a great story is not written, it's rewritten. And to, as Stephen King says, to write is human and to edit is divine. So you know, just know the first draft is not going to be it. You got to keep going, keep going, keep going. All right.
I love that. I love that. Go ahead, Scott. You were going to say something.
I just, we often go back to Nike's tagline of just do it. And if you want to write, please just write. And don't worry about it. Don't censor yourself. Edit yourself later, but don't censor yourself. Just get it out there.
Yeah,
Agreed.
absolutely. Absolutely. Well, listen, we have, oh my goodness, what an amazing conversation that we could keep going. So we could do a part 2, 3, 4, and 5. We'll have to consider that. But you guys are full of so much great information. And thank you for the comments about Scott's and my energy. I'm thinking of you, William. I want to be you when I grow up. I'm going to be 60 years young this summer, and you were 75 years young. And I want to tell people out there, people give up when they get into their 50s and 60s on life so often. My life is over. I'm just going to retire and fade into the sunset. And I want to tell you, not time to give up. There's so many amazing things you can still accomplish. I thought I did a lot, and I'm approaching 60. Look at William. Oh my goodness. I definitely want to be you when I grow up. So that is so awesome.
Just
so
keep
listen,
going. Just keep going. Don't stop. And use your brain, because you can delay dementia and Alzheimer's a long time if you just work your brain. Learn languages, learn how to play an instrument, play golf left-handed instead of right-handed, right?
I just learned how to play the drums this last year. I'm a 25-year bass player. Just started playing the drums, just had my first paid gig, and now people are asking me for more gigs. It's never too late to be what you could have been, right? I remember who said that, but that's exactly the truth. So
just do
never
it.
too late.
Go for it.
That's it. Oh my goodness. It is so true. And you're right. And by the way, everybody, having a mama who ended up passing away from Alzheimer's, I have learned so much. And I just want to echo what Bill said. Engage your brain, but also think about what you put in your body, because how we treat ourselves affects both our body and our mind. So today, that is your little tip on the way out the door. But William and Kenyatta, I'm sorry, I'm just such a short name guy. I'm just a Bill guy. William and Kenyatta, we are going to say thank you and send you out to the green room, but hang tight because we'll be there in just a minute.
Okay.
Thank you. Have a good
You
day.
guys.
Well, Russell, it's always
Russell, you sound like my mother and my wife. Yes, when I'm in trouble.
Yeah. Well, what a great show. I love the longevity. Of course, my wife's program, agingbetterNetwork.com, aspects of aging, that's one of the things she talks about, is talk about you're now entering the third of your life. And there's a lot of opportunity. You can take that book that started 30 years ago, and Alex Haley sitting there thumbing through your stuff says, you got some skill here. You need to share this story with folks. So
that is so amazing. And we all have a story in us, like Scott. You always say everybody's got a book in them. And when Scott originally talked to me about writing my book, and I wrote Befuddled, Live the Life You Choose, I thought he was crazy. And then I wrote it, and what an amazing experience.
I am crazy.
He is crazy, but I actually pulled it off. And you know what? I showed that I could do more than I thought I could do by just accomplishing that book. Listen, everybody, so many people think, yeah, people don't care about what I say. People don't care about what I do. That, first of all, is imposter syndrome. But second of all, people do care. There are people in everyone's life who does care. And if for me, only one person cares, if my beautiful wife is the only one, well, my son and daughter-in-law, they would care. So if my immediate family are the only ones that cared about my book, I'd still be happy because I accomplished it. I did it. I got it out there, and it means something to me and to them. So just get out there and do it. And also, I want to tell everybody, we have a bunch of people that don't want anybody to know they're here this morning, but we want to know you're here. On the way out, everybody just say hi that's here. There's so many people that are here still. This show has just been overloaded with great people watching today. And I just want everybody to let us know, say hi. We appreciate you. We just want the opportunity to say thank you. Just like Shannon, who's here, we want to say thank you to the people that came and to all the others that have already been engaged in the show today. So appreciate that. And also, please share this out with your friends. One thing I did not say to everybody before we wrap this up, and that is, please share today. Let everybody know, even if you're watching on replay, it doesn't matter. You can still share it out. You can still tag your friends. So much great content and two amazing people that you and all your friends should know were on the show today. And also, if you really want to get the full experience of life, go to our YouTube page at theexperience.video. That's all you got to type in. Type in theexperience.video. It's going to take you directly to our YouTube page. You can subscribe today, and you have all the content of as of next week, 150 shows that we've done, the amazing guests that have been on. Scott and I are so blessed, and you will be blessed by the people we've had on this show, because the experience of life gets bigger and better every day. Right, Scott?
Absolutely. And as we say, we have the most remarkable people on the planet, and we're going to have the most remarkable people on our additional show, The Experience Local, coming up starting on Monday. And that's
right.
9 a.m. You'll find it on Facebook, YouTube, LinkedIn, and the audio broadcast on KWIL at 6 p.m. on Monday evening. And so tune in. Please welcome us to that inaugural show, Season 1, Episode 1.
Yes, we would love to have you there. And you know what? Until we see you next week, we're here every week, 7 a.m. Pacific Standard Time for your listening and viewing pleasure. And we get excited, everybody. If you didn't know that, we get excited every day to be here. So until we see you again, have a great day and a great life, and enjoy
the experience.
Woo!
Thanks for tuning in to The Experience live with Russ and Scott. If you enjoyed today's show, please share it with others, post about it on social media, or subscribe on YouTube. See you next time.